Thanks. Good afternoon, guys. Welcome, welcome. Say hi to Bill Squire. He's right over there.
Hey, creepy hugs.
Mary Santora is out. Comedian Joe Briggs will join us a little bit later on. He's taping something tonight at Hilarities. Is that what's going on?
Correct. He's filming a comedy special at Hilarities in the Cabaret. Frolic Cabaret.
That's the side room there?
Yeah.
Is it going to be called I'm Also Getting Famous?
No. I believe it's going to be called Old Freight Train, his nickname.
That's his nickname?
That's his nickname, yeah.
His nickname is Old Freight Train.
Old Freight Train.
All right.
Or maybe it's just Freight Train, but I think I add the old.
Mm-hmm.
But he originally
He's still a young man.
Yeah, Freight Train is from his soccer days.
Okay.
He got that nickname playing soccer. I guess he was like a freight train out
plowing
there.
Through everyone. All right.
But he originally wanted to title it Joe Briggs Has a Gun. Because he has a bit about that, but then he's like, yeah, that might get on the streamers and stuff. They're like, yeah, I don't know if I want to.
Would it? I mean,
I don't know.
Streaming services have songs and album titles across the spectrum of bad taste.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that rises to the level of bad taste.
I mean, it's
just the name of an album.
Maybe he'll change. Maybe we can talk him into it.
We should.
All right.
Joe Briggs Has a Gun. Because the cover doesn't have to be him with any kind of firearm.
Right.
It can be him in like a seersucker suit, like he's an old-timey lawyer.
He does have that good look for an old-timey suit like that. He's got a very, I would say, late 70s look.
Mm-hmm. He's cultivated it well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also in Bill Squire's Chris McQuanzica, too. I don't want to bury that lead.
Yeah.
I'll have tickets for you for that later on.
Dude's so funny.
Yeah. If you want to join us today, please do. Telephonically, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007. You can send me a text, 35192. It was brought to my attention, and I don't know how long it's been like this, probably a while. So when you call the after hours line, it's no longer the original greeting that I recorded. It's not me anymore. Once we kind of changed the way that I was getting those calls after we moved from Oak Tree, I guess it just reverted to whatever the default outgoing message is, where it's like a robot that tells you to leave a message. So I guess it was throwing some people off. But if you call the after hours line to leave voicemails, that's still this show's after hours line. I'm going to try to find a way to get my voice back on there so it doesn't confuse people, but whatever. Halloween last night. Was anything happen Halloween-wise for you? Or no?
Had a very good time.
You're not getting kids in your building, though.
No, we didn't do that. But there were a lot of kids trick-or-treating in the neighborhood adjacent to me because they're like right over the 117th line. It's Cleveland, and it's all those mansions over there. So there was a ton of kids over there trick-or-treating and, driving to that neighborhood specifically to trick-or-treat, which they seem to be okay with.
I was
They're out
surprised.
there sitting on their lawn chairs and enjoying it.
I was reading. Gwen and Nora were already out when I got home, so I said, "Well, tell me where to meet you, and I'll meet you out there, whatever." And so I met them a couple of streets over. But I was really as nice as it was. They said it was the warmest Halloween in 50 years in Cleveland. It's like 72 degrees last night, and I was really surprised at how few kids I saw out where we live. Very, very few. I mean, there'd be a couple of clusters here and there, but, towards the end of the allotted time, whatever that is, I think 8 o'clock is when trick-or-treating was supposed to end. As you got closer and closer to that, people just want to get rid of their candy. Like, I left our bowl out overnight, and by the time I got up, it was like half full. I mean, it was barely, anything. And my daughter's strategy, she's pretty sharp. Her strategy is, because I thought it was going to be her and a bunch of her friends and like other moms when I met up with them. It was just Gwen and Nora. And my daughter's strategy is, look, if I go trick-or-treating with a bunch of my friends and, you go up to the door, they drop a little piece of candy in everybody's bag. Whereas if it's just me,
you might get 2 or 3.
They tell me to do what I want, and that's exactly what happened.
That is very, very smart.
Yeah, so she's like,
I'm sacrificing friendship and social interactions for more candy.
Well, no, because she's like, we already had a Halloween party at school.
Yeah.
Everybody's in their costume. She's like, I hung out, I saw my friends all day at school.
Now it's candy
time.
Now it's time for business.
Yes. I want to go trick-or-treating alone. And she did. And
that is so smart. I love that.
And because there's a cul-de-sac back behind our street, and so we kind of went back there. And again, really, really not that many people walking around. And by that time of the night, these people just want to unload their candy. So literally, she'd walk up and they'd be like, take whatever you want. She's fistfuls of,
Nice.
And full-size candy bars, whether they're no longer like the 4-leaf clover of Halloween. When we were kids, if somebody was handing out full-size candy bars,
I think maybe one or
was a
two
big
Halloweens.
deal.
Like, there's definitely Halloweens where I got no full-size candy bars, and I think maybe 1 or 2 Halloweens where I actually got like a full-size candy bar.
But you would go home and dump out your bag.
Yeah.
And maybe there would be 1 or 2. Maybe there was the cool lady up the street that was handing you the big brick Snickers, right?
Right.
Now it's
and usually it wouldn't even be a Snickers. It'd be like a regular Hershey bar.
Yeah. A lot of Hershey bars still going out. One old lady did have popcorn balls. Not her.
Any
That's
potatoes?
Did
you see any potatoes?
No, but I saw somebody was
post about
memeing the
that?
potatoes, but I wasn't sure what the joke was.
Well, I guess someone just one year put a bunch of potatoes in with the candy, and kids kept choosing potato, and so they kept doing it, and then it kind of spread from there, and other people do it now, where they just put a few potatoes in and wait to see if kids choose potato.
I mean, it's funny. I guess you got to know the composition of your street. Last thing I want to do is give hooligans ammunition.
Right.
But yeah, so she ended up with, we always take the bag home and then we weigh it. And I said, well, you're not going to outdo last year, because there are a lot of houses with the lights off. Last year she had 4, we get out the luggage scale and weigh her bag at the end of the night. Last year was 4 pounds. And just by sight, I go, it doesn't look like that much this year. It looks like it's less. She goes, I bet it's more. I said, well, let's check. 6 pounds.
Jeez.
6 pounds of candy.
That's significantly more.
Significantly more. And our neighbors across the street, directly across from us, a couple of dudes who are out there. They got lights. They're older guys, but they really do it up. They got lights and everything. He's out there with a card table. He's playing music. And there's candy for the kids, booze for the adults. So when we walk over there, that's like our last stop before we go home. He always has a giant handle of something. He's got some kind of white lightning that he's written a black Sharpie on. And this year it was like a giant handle of Polish lemon vodka. And he goes, let's do shots. I said, okay.
Let's do it.
I felt it running through my body. So a couple of shots
That's like a newer thing, because I
stumbled back across the street to my house.
I wish that had been more of a thing when my kids were young enough to trick or treat. That would have been fun.
Well, when Gwen tells me about when she grew up trick-or-treating in Michigan, she's like, all of the parents
We're doing that?
were doing that. So she's like, by the time we got back home, my dad was hammered because, so that's probably the way to do it. But yeah, my neighborhood was very, very light on kids. I saw a couple of clusters. There were like a bunch of parents with like little kids who are walking them around. But literally by the time we got to the end of the allotted time to trick-or-treat, these people were like dumping their bowls in my daughter's bag. So they're like, go do whatever you want to do.
Good for her. Good haul.
We have neighbors who are very, very nice people, but they have a bunch of Trump signs in their yard. And I was surprised they were even doing Halloween at all, because they hate handouts. They don't want anything to do with it. But they're very nice people. They also
are rarely consistent, so.
I guess. But they couldn't have been nicer. Mm-hmm. What I like is over there in Dublin. I've been to Dublin a couple of times. It's my homeland. I love that city. I'd like to go back.
It's not that bad. It's right there, just right outside Columbus.
Ireland, Bill.
Right outside Columbus.
Dublin, Ireland.
We used to play lacrosse against them.
Not Dublin, Ohio.
Okay.
Somebody sent an AI-generated advertisement for a downtown parade. And hundreds of people showed up before people realized that it was all fake and it wasn't going to be a Halloween parade. An AI-generated advertisement that originated in Pakistan said that it was going to be the return of what used to be a traditional Dublin Halloween parade. They kind of ended it over COVID. And this invitation goes out, says, hey, we're bringing it back this year. And they said hundreds of people showed up along the parade route, and it was about an hour later when they had to put the word out. We never planned this. This is not anything that we're putting together. This was all fake. And And listen, when if you've ever been over to Dublin, you know that when people have been drinking all day long and then they collect and you ask them to disperse, it goes off without a hitch. I'm not even joking.
Like,
it's not like over here where people start punching each other. Over there, the cops are like, all right, go home. And they go, all right, they disperse, There's no gunfire, anything like that. But they did get the wool pulled over their eyes unwittingly with this Halloween parade. More of a trick than a treat, if you will. We focus so much on the candy, you got to give it up for the tricks. I got a break. I got money for you. That's no joke. 2:30, I'll have another $1,000 courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. You want to send a text for anything, do that 35192.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app or whatever smart device you have.
Just tell me to play the Alan Cox Show on iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio has